Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Quick Tips with Sean. Today we're going to be talking about compression, how to use it, when to use it, what the heck is it. I'm going to go over all that stuff and a couple different examples of how to use it. So let's dive right in. Today I'm going to be using Ableton for my example, and I'm going to be using Ableton's compressor. Alright, so let's just throw that in on a track here. Alright, cool. The first thing I want to do is just kind of explain what a compressor is and how a compressor works. What I believe a compressor does is basically when you record something, you're recording low energy information and you're recording high energy information. And what a compressor will do is take that high energy stuff and shove it back down towards the low energy stuff. And now you have like this squashed, awesome, gritty sound. And you're going to use what's called makeup gain to bring all that stuff back up, and it's just going to be freaking awesome. So now that you guys understand the basics of what a compressor is doing, let's go over some of the parameters of a compressor. We have ratio, threshold, attack, release, auto release, gain reduction, and makeup gain. Okay, so first, ratio. What I believe ratio is basically an aggression knob. Okay, so at 2, it's not so aggressive, and the more you go up, the more aggressive you're getting, and eventually you'll get into like limiting settings. Attack is attack time, so how fast does the compressor activate after the signal passes above threshold. Now release time is pretty much the exact opposite, and it's how fast does the compressor stop after the signal drops below threshold. And that brings us to threshold. Threshold is basically a level at which the compressor is activated. So you drop this compressor down past signal, and then that's what compresses. That's what starts to compress. That's what activates the compressor. And the farther you bring it down, the more you're going to be bringing down that high energy stuff closer down to the low energy stuff. And then the farther you do, the more gain reduction that you'll get. So gain reduction is just kind of an indicator of how much you're losing in terms of dynamic range. And then what you do at the final step, what makes the magic happen, is makeup gain. So the makeup gain is just going to bring everything back up to like the original level, the original amplitude, but you're bringing up a lot of that gritty low stuff that's going to just make the sound so much better. So now that you guys kind of understand a compressor a little bit better, I'm going to go over 2 different examples. 1 being how to make something pop out of the mix, and 2, how to glue things together. So for the first example of making something pop, I want to be working with the snare. So let's go to my snare track and add a compressor. Alright, cool. So yeah, let me put my cans on so I can hear what's going on. I have this drum loop ready so we can work with that. Let's hear what's going on here. Alright, so basically what's a good way of remembering how to make something pop is high ratio, high threshold. So I'm going to be moving this up to around 3 to 4. That's up to you to choose. Just kind of feel it works better. And then high threshold. So you don't need to drop it down too far, and you don't want to get too much gain reduction. Okay, cool. And for my attack time, this is very important with very percussive and transient instruments like a snare drum. I want my compressor to let the transient pass through before it does really kind of catch onto it and compress it. So around 10 to 14 is where you want to stay in. And release times, 50 milliseconds would work really good. Anywhere below that is totally up to you. I wouldn't go too far above 50. But today I'm going to be using Ableton's auto release because I feel like it works really well. So gain reduction and an output. And I have the auto makeup. It's a feature that a lot of compressors will give you. It's just basically doing the work for you when it comes to bringing that level back up. So let's A/B what's going on here. So without it. Okay. With it. Yeah. Alright, cool. So that was tip 1, how to make something pop. And you guys can use this with any instrument. It doesn't have to be a snare. It could be a clap. It could be any percussive thing. It could be even a vocal. You want a vocal to pop. These are just parameters and settings to make that happen and achieve that goal. Alright, so tip number 2 is to glue things together. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be working on the drums group. I already have some compressors up, so let's just get rid of those guys and add a new one. Straight scratch. Alright, cool. So let's put the cans on and take a listen. Alright, so when it comes to gluing something together, you kind of want to tell yourself the opposite of the first tip. So the first tip was high ratio, high threshold. Gluing something together, we're gonna do a low ratio, low threshold. So 2 is good, but I can bring it down, okay? I can bring this, get more gain reduction. I can already hear the cymbals and all this stuff that's a little lower than the snare come up, and now we're balancing, we're gluing. But when it comes to attack times, you want to get pretty slow. You don't want it to catch very quickly, so I would recommend anywhere from 60 to around 100 milliseconds. I'm gonna go and do 60 because the song I'm working on is a bit quick, and it has a quick feel to it. And the release, I would say anywhere from 100 to like 200 milliseconds. Now, obviously, the faster the music, the quicker the settings, and the slower the music, the slower the settings. Now let's A/B this and see what's going on here. This without it, and with it. Definitely hear a change. Alright guys, so there you have it. Those are my 2 tips on compression. I hope this really helps you guys out. I hope you guys are able to apply this on your future productions. Please leave a comment below if you guys want any type of video covered in the future. Just let me know. And please like and subscribe. That would really help me out. Alright guys, thank you for watching and have a good day.